Welcome back everyone, and last we left off we were exploring the Channelwood age here, and we found ourselves in the very highest level looking at, I don't really know yet, there's 3 huts up here, it looks like so far, and we're at the second one in the middle, but we're not entirely sure what this place is. Candles, there's a neat mask. I believe we saw a mask like this in the Stone Ship age. Interesting. Well, it looks like that thing is set up. This is the back door, maybe? It looks like it's set up so somebody comes in this door, that thing talks to them, and I don't know, this kind of reminds me of like a temple. Or maybe like, since this thing opens and closes, maybe they sacrifice some kind of things here? We don't really know, though. But it has a church-type vibe to me, like a tribal church. Anyway, we've got a hut way over here. What kind of bed is that? Oh, there's Achenar's music with the tribal drums in the background. Cool. Not much in here. I mean, I feel like the mattress must have been removed, because who's gonna sleep on that? Seriously. Anyway, there's the blue page. We've already got the red page. No, I feel we have the pink page. That's deceptively red here in the icon. But the only thing of importance in this room really looks like this thing. Well, that sounds awfully familiar. I think that's the thing that we heard in the tribal room over there. Let's see what some of these other buttons do. That's really creepy. Obviously, these are of Achenar, especially with the blue tint. I think it's really interesting that these messages are in the same blue in the books. It makes me wonder if the technology is similar in the books we're communicating with these guys, and this sort of technology here. Interesting, in the journals we read, Atris did mention that the tree dwellers spoke a different language, and that Sirrus and Achanar were picking it up. So it sounds like Achenar was perhaps communicating with the tree dwellers in this way.
I hope I pushed the right button, my dear brother. What a very interesting device you have here. I'm not erasing anything important, am I? Remember, he is preparing. Take only one page, my dear brother.
Well, that was outside of the part of the course. That looked like Sirrus in blue. We haven't seen him in blue static before. But, he seemed like he was awfully friendly with Achenar. Whoa, the tribal drums went crazy. Awfully friendly with him in that message. Remember, he is preparing. He called him dear brother, which is interesting because all the other interactions we've seen, proof of, we have seen them. Whoa. You can click on this door, it doesn't do anything, but it looks like you can lock this, and maybe perhaps this was locked at some point, but to keep people coming into the other huts, and keep people coming into this entrance only. But anyway, it called him dear brother, and all the other interactions we've seen, they've been accusing each other of bad things, so perhaps this was during better times. It said, he is preparing, take only one page. Wonder don't really know what that means. It could have something to do with the page we found 2 halves of, because that is 1 page total, but we don't really know. It is a mystery, but it looks like we found everything we can find here, and we have a red page, so I think now would be an excellent time to go back to Myst. We already know how to do it, because we've already been in the linking area. Now, there is one thing down here that I forgot to point out, so while I'm down here I will point it out. It has to do with the journal we read. Let's turn that. But when we get to that area, I will show you. I think, yeah. Here, I'll show you right now, actually. This right here, see how all this is broken? I've shown you before, but I didn't mention. In the journals, it mentioned the old man fell from the trees and broke off a walkway, and I bet you that's where he fell. I think it's strongly hinted at that that is the case. Well, not fell, I guess. It sounded like he committed suicide from the journals. That he was ready to go, that he was old, that it was his time, and he thought that Achenar was the one who's supposed to come and take over for him. At least that is the impression that I got. Alright, so we want the pipe to go across, as I lose my sense of direction in this place. I do that quite a bit. I know where I want to go, but I want to see the path. It would make me feel better. It's clearly not this way, though. But I will do what I always do when I get slightly confused. We will start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. Ah, no. I want to look at the thing. Nope, we want to go the other way. Oh, we had it right. Okay. Doesn't sound like the water's flowing this way, though. There we go. I'm very sorry. I had a confused moment. But I think I've got my bearings again. My brain is on mostly. Oop, I want to look down here. Sometimes when I try to click down there, it doesn't. There it goes. There's the pipe I want. I had a moment where I just kind of forgot where it was at. But now we're going the right way. Awesome. But this is my favorite age, as I've mentioned before. And now that we've been through most of it, I can explain a little better why. I do like the look of this age, but that is not why it's my favorite. I feel like out of all the ages, this is the most sort of, for lack, I don't know what to call it, probable? Like, I feel like this world is the most cohesive. It feels like there used to be people here. It feels like it matches up really nicely with the journal entries. It actually has the feel of a civilization, and it gives a lot of story elements to doing it. You don't feel like it's as much just filler, and I feel like the puzzles are just trying to navigate around, which makes a lot of sense for a world like this. So I really enjoy it. Time to go back to Myst. I am drinking some more Oktoberfest Sam Adams. I was drinking that a few videos ago. So let's put the pink page in the pink book. Turn this up. Hear what Pink Man has to say. Whoa.
You finally returned. I owe you a debt of gratitude, for you have nearly released me. My name is Sirrus. I trust that from your explorations you've become convinced that my wicked brother Achenar is guilty, and I am innocent. It is I who am wrongly imprisoned here. Imprisoned by my father. I don't know who you are, or how you came to this island, but I assume you must at least know something of the books. It was father who was a master of the books. He wrote hundreds of them, all describing and linking to the fantastic places and ages which he had discovered. The room in which you now stand was our father's library. It was here, in this room, on this island named Myst, that he housed most of these books. But such a waste. By now, you have surely discovered that Achenar has burnt and mutilated most of these books. Why? Our father was always watchful of our exploration. We grew up under his strict supervision. But when we came of age, he gave us unbridled access to the Myst books. He began to leave our adventures more and more unchecked. Unsupervised as we were, my brother began to become disturbed. He began to take more from the Myst ages than he had given. Soon he gained a twisted pleasure from the conquest and destruction of the other ages. It was horrific. His thirst for destruction. But alas, even I discovered his insanity too late. He had completely destroyed all of the Myst ages but 4. I wasted no time. In warning my father, I thought he would recognize Achenar's guilt. But in a fit of rage, he imprisoned both my brother and myself within the pages of these books, designed to hold us until he could judge which of us was guilty. To discover the truth, our father embarked on one final challenge. However, he has never returned. I can only assume that he perished along the way, leaving me, an innocent victim, trapped forever. But now, you are here to release me. Listen carefully. You must find one more page and I will be forever free. There is a book on the shelves in this library which is mostly burned but has a few pages still intact. It is the last book on the middle shelf. Find it. This book is filled with a variety of patterns. Find pattern 158 and recreate it on the door of the fireplace. This will bring you to the last red page. Bring that page to me, and I will finally be released, and able to reward you, of course. Ignore the blue page. That page finishes my brother's book. It chills me to even think what would happen if you were to release him. There is another warning. Where the red and blue pages reside, also resides a green book. If you touch the green book, you also will be imprisoned forever. Our father gave us this same warning long ago. I suggest you follow his advice. Go now. Soon we will be face to face.
Alright, that was Sirrus's message, and finally, the static is not so bad, and we get to see the equivalent of a YouTube video here in this book. I think it's interesting that later on we have videos in little windows like that. That was not the case back then, but that's what it reminds me of. But the effects are really neat, and Sirrus told us a lot. So let's go over some of the things he said. Of course, he did refer to the last book on the middle shelf. And it does indeed look burned, but it does have patterns. And he did say 158. Now, you can hold down and it'll eventually go by tens, which is nice. You can flip these pages really fast. And there's pattern 158. And you can write that down. But we don't want to do that right now because that does give us the final pink page. As he said, and he said that that pattern is what you put into this fireplace. We explored that fireplace earlier, so we get an idea what that's like. But we want to get the blue page and hear Achenar's side of the story. We could talk a little bit about what Sirrus said while I'm heading to the Channelwood age, because it'll take me a little while to get there. So, Sirrus claims that his brother destroyed all the other ages his father created and, well, not created, but created the links to. And he claims that his brother destroyed them, and he caught his brother and warned his dad, Atris. But Atris, in a fit of rage, imprisoned them both as punishment. Now, that's interesting. The only real I guess there's a few problems I can see with that story. One is that the imager message we got from Atris earlier in the game. Oh, I wanted to show you something too. You can go up here just to see the view. But the imager, the message we saw in the imager did say that he discovered his library burned and he didn't know who did it, and he hadn't talked to his sons yet. Now, it could be that Sirrus found that out, and then the discussion with Sirrus happened after that imager message was made. So it doesn't necessarily mean that Sirrus's story is not unviable. It's just something that could be a sign of maybe not telling the complete truth. Also, he did say that his father imprisoned them both, but we don't know where his father is. The only proof of him we've seen is the messages we've seen all around, and that's really it. That's all we've seen of Atris, where Achenar claimed that Atris is dead. So that would make sense, the fact that we haven't run into Atris anywhere. So, but it could be that he imprisoned them and then went somewhere else. I mean, he's got ages. He clearly has all kinds of things going on. So it doesn't necessarily put a hole in Sirrus's story either. So his story is certainly plausible. Oh, it skipped a little bit there. But anyway, I showed you guys the view from up there. It's just pretty. So, certainly plausible. Now, what do I think about Sirrus? Well, Sirrus is a fairly charismatic guy, it seems, although there's something about him that gives me a vibe that he's not the most genuine person. I get this kind of skeezy vibe from him, kind of car salesman vibe. That's just a vibe I get, and it could very well be attributed to bad acting or just how he comes across. But that's something that always struck me about him. So that's one thing, and I do have to say, as a kid, I was an Achenar fan all the way. Now, looking back at this, I really question my taste, but there was something about the way Sirrus sort of carried himself, this sort of skeezy vibe that I still get from him to some degree, that I didn't like as a kid. And Achenar's emotional pleas always made me feel he was more sincere, whereas Sirrus was very refined and distinguished, and it made me not trust him. Now, my mom was a Sirrus guy all the way, and totally wanted us to side with him, and I'll explain more how that all played out later on. But playing the game again, objectively, I definitely prefer Sirrus over Achenar. Mostly because, I mean, if you look at their rooms, Sirrus does seem more like a refined guy. Yes, greedy, but you don't see many instruments of torture. I mean, we did find the needles. We did find a dagger. But other than that, I find Achenar's rooms far more disturbing with their skulls and torture in general. If I had to pick which one seems more evil from the outside, I would tend to think that it was Achenar. But Sirrus could be sort of a underhanded kind of villain, so that doesn't mean that Achenar is necessarily guilty. I mean, it could be that he liked to torture small animals, but didn't actually destroy the ages, or he actually did torture people but turned over a new leaf. I mean, we don't really know for certain. And that is an interesting thing about this game. I do feel like it is not so obvious which brother to pick, even as this game goes on, this late in the game. So I definitely am not sure which I would pick at this point. Oh, we don't have it flowing this way. Let's get it flowing this way. Oops, I wanted to look down, please. Down. Down, there we go. It's one bad thing about holding a page is you can't really see where you're like, it usually will do like a down, pointing down, if you're going the right way. But, actually. But, in this one you can't because you have the page in your hand. Okay. I did have it right. Alright, that's where we're going. My bad. Alright, we're good now. But, I do want to hear Achenar's side of things. I don't feel like we would have enough information to make an informed decision. Like I said, if this point in the game, if I had to choose one or the other, I would choose Sirrus. But we still have things to do. Alright. Here we are back at the Myst book. Oh, I don't like that sound effect. It creeps me out. I'm scared. Hold me. For some reason, sometimes when I link in this library, I expect when I scroll down to like find somebody standing right here. I don't know why. I guess that's my fear of horror games coming into effect. Alright, let's hear what Achenar has to say.
Hello, I'm Achenar.
Yeah, you've told us.
I'm glad to see that you've returned to help me escape from my wrongful imprisonment. It was Sirrus who did this to me. Sirrus, my wicked brother. Do not listen to him. I warn you. He's a liar. Do not be persuaded by his evil lies. Do not believe him. He killed my father. He will kill you. Began when my brother Sirrus began to lust for riches. He stole from the ages of Myst. He hoarded riches for himself. My father slipped away his watchfulness. My sick brother secretly pronounced himself king. King of the ages of Myst, he said. He began to look upon me in disgust. Slowly, brother hated him. And then Sirrus began to destroy the ages of Myst. He burned their forest. He tore down their structures. He flooded their lands. He murdered their inhabitants. He destroyed all but 4 of the ages. Of course, I had to warn father. When I finally found him, there was Sirrus also, talking cleverly. The lying tongue of a serpent. He had convinced father that it was I who destroyed the ages. He convinced father that it was I who was greedy for wealth and plunder. And Sirrus dealt the final blow. He tricked father into believing that I was the murderer. But Sirrus did not deal as fast a blow as he planned. And his father died a slow death. He at last doubted my brother's clever lies, and so in dying, father imprisoned us both. Unsure from which of us the blow had come. I swear to you what I say is true. Release me. You must release me. My brother's a deceitful liar and deserves punishment. I only wish vengeance for my dear father. His murder. Believe me. You must only recover 1 additional page to release me from this prison. It's the easiest to find. Go to the bookshelf that's in this library. On the far right side of the middle shelf, there's a burned book, which is different from the other burned books. This book is filled with patterns. Find pattern 158. Mimic its design on the panel in the fireplace. Doing this will bring you the last blue page. Remember, don't take the red page. Only the blue page. Return quickly to me. And do not touch the green book. It's a clever trap to imprison those who have not been warned. Do not be tempted, for you will rot and die, imprisoned as I am. I tell you, you follow my instructions, it will be well worth your while. I promise you that. Go. Go.
Alright, and that is Achenar's message. A lot of similarities to Sirrus's, but there are some different things. Let's go over the similarities first. Both messages told us about this book on the far, the book I already showed you on the far right of the middle shelf. Told us to go to the same page that Sirrus did. So to beat this game, you technically only have to collect all of the pink books or all of the blue or pink pages and all of the blue pages. And well, I mean, if you already know what to do, you don't have to do any of that. But hypothetically, if you were going through this game and you decided early on that you trusted one of the brothers over the other, you could hypothetically just bring back their pages and still beat the game that way. But I think it's better to get both sides of the story. That's how I've always played this game. That's how I played this game the first time I played with my family. That's how I played this game as an adult. And most people I know played the game in a similar manner. So, what have we got left to do? Well, oh, and let me add, they both mentioned a green book to not touch. Well, we could go in there and retrieve, put in the code and see what we could do, but there is one thing we discovered while we were looking through the islands, and we discovered the full message on the Channelwood age, and that is the secret vault of Myst. I think before we continue, we should find out what that's about, and then maybe try to free a brother, or maybe that'll give us information about which brother we should pick. So, in the next video, we will open the Vault of Myst, or at least attempt to, and figure out which brother to trust.